All right, so this is part two of applications. This is where we left off, and I just again want to stress that this was 56.2 degrees, not like an angle over here. We did not do this and call that 56.2 degrees because remember, angles of elevation and angles of depression are measured from a horizontal, not from a vertical. Okay, so make sure you understand that. That's why we didn't do this angle. We did this one. Okay, so this next part is dealing with bearing, and bearing is measured from a vertical. So uh, angle of depression and elevation are measured off of a horizontal. Bearing is measured off of a vertical. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do two examples here in this video, and then that will be it. Okay. So let's take a look at this example for bearing. Okay. So these are now bearing problems. So just keep in mind that it's measured from a vertical, and bearing deals with direction. So it's from the vertical north-south axis. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this one here. Town A, suppose that town A is 14 miles, 14 miles due north. So that means directly north of town B. Okay. If town C is 3.5 miles due east, that means directly east of town B, what is the bearing? What is the bearing? So that's the angle measured from a vertical. What is the bearing from town A to town C? Okay, so again, we'll draw this. Okay, town A is 14 miles due north of town B. Okay, so first of all, let's make sure we all are following the same north, south, east, west. Okay. All right, so town A is 14 miles due north of town B. So I'm going to call this B, and town A is 14 miles. 14 miles due north. Okay. And town C is 3.5 miles due east. Notice these are both two significant digits. Okay. All right, 3.5 miles due east. What is the bearing? What is the bearing from town A to town C? Okay, so here we go. All right, so the angle measured from a vertical. So where's our vertical? Right here. There's our vertical. And this is from A to C. Okay, so we're trying to figure out that angle. Okay. I mean, I suppose you could have a vertical here, and you're trying to find this measure, okay, from A to C, And here's your vertical. But that's the same thing because these are just parallel lines, right? Okay. They're going to be the same angle. All right. So we want to know, what is this bearing? Okay. What is this bearing? And it's from town A to town C. So that means we're going in this sort of southeast direction, right? Because you're going from here to C. Okay. So I guess in that sense, just the north, south, east, west, that would make the difference. But the actual calculation of the angle measure would be the same here and here. You would just say, uh, you would just need to make sure you have the right north, south, east, or west. Okay. All right. So we're trying to find this angle measure. I have this here. Let me write my SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. All right. So over here, I have angle A, and I have opposite, and I have adjacent, opposite, and adjacent. That's going to be tangent. Okay. So tangent A equals opposite over adjacent. Okay. Multiply both sides by 14. 14 tangent A equals, oops, sorry. We don't have A. We're trying to find A. We're trying to find A, an angle, so we have to use tangent inverse. So A equals tangent inverse 3.5 over 14. It's getting late. It's been a long day, and it's like 200 degrees. Okay, anyway, no excuses. All right, tangent inverse 3.5 over 14. Punch that into your calculator, and keep in mind, since we have two significant digits here, then that means we want the nearest degree. Okay, so we want the nearest degree. And we know this from that angle, that side angle relationship table thing that we had in the last section. Okay, so two significant digits on the sides means we want the nearest degree over here. So punch that into your calculator. We don't want all that mess. We just want the nearest degree. And so we would get 14 degrees. Okay. When we talk about bearing, so we don't just stop there. We also need direction. 14 degrees in what direction, right? So here, if we're going from town A to town C, so if we're going that direction, then according to here, we're going kind of southeast, right? So we're going southeast. So the answer, the way we write our answer, we do our 14 degrees, but when we write our southeast, we put the south in the front and the east here. Okay, so that's how we would write our final answer. Okay. If it were northwest, then we would put north here, west here. So it's always important to know which direction are you going. Are you going this way or are you going that way? And you can tell from the problem here. It says, what is the bearing from town A to? So you're going towards town C. So you're going this direction. Okay. All right. Let's do one more using bearing, and then we'll all go and try to cool off. Okay. Let's see. Let's do this one here. Okay, so suppose that a boat, so bearing deals with directions. A boat travels, but not so much at least not when I fly. Okay. A boat travels on a course of bearing so it's north 46 degrees 30 minutes east. Okay, so northeast. So we're going northeast. So try to picture that. For a distance, of 248 miles. Okay, how many miles? How many miles north? And how many miles east has the boat traveled? Okay. All right. I don't know about you, but my calculator doesn't have degrees, minutes, seconds on it. So I'm going to have to convert this. Okay. Um, let me draw the picture first. Okay. Boat travels on a course of bearing 46 degrees, 30 minutes northeast. That's here. North, south, east, west. Okay, so northeast is this direction. Okay. He's over here somewhere. He started from down here and he went for a distance of 248 miles. And he has a bearing. Remember, bearing is measured from a vertical. So don't do this. Don't go, oh, this is 46 degrees, 30 minutes. That's not a vertical. This is not a vertical. That's a horizontal. Now you're talking about angle of elevation. Bearing is always measured from a vertical. Okay? All right. So there's our vertical. Okay. Let me put the 248 on the outside. 248 miles. Okay. All right. So there's our vertical, and we know that this is 46 degrees and 30 minutes. Okay. So we know that. And the question is, how far north? So I'll call this A. How far north and how far east? I'll call this B. So how far north and how far east did this boat travel? Okay. All right. So a few things. Let me write down my SOHCAHTOA so I know which one to use. And I'm going to go ahead and convert. My 46 degrees, 30 minutes. Oh, well, that one's easy. 30 minutes is only that's half, right? Because it takes 60 minutes to make a degree. That's not too bad. I didn't need a calculator. 46.5 degrees. Okay. You can do 30. Remember, we always keep the degree part. It's this. So we have 30 minutes. You have 30 minutes divided by 60. So 30 out of the 60, which is 0.5. Okay. All right. So we have all of that. We need to let's find, it doesn't matter which one. Okay. Let's find A first. Okay. So A, we have adjacent, and then we have 248, which is the hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse, that's cosine. So cosine of 46.5 degrees. I'm using degrees, decimal degrees, because I don't have DMS on my calculator. Okay. Cosine 46.5 degrees equals opposite. No, adjacent. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, 248. Multiply both sides by 248 to solve for A. We get 248 times cosine 46.5 equals A. And how many significant digits do we need? Okay, so we have 3 significant digits here. So I want 3 significant digits from my long answer on my calculator. So I only need 3, so it's 171. 171 miles north. Okay. All right. All right. Let's get letter B. Okay, letter B up here. That would be opposite, and then I have hypotenuse, so that would be sine. Sine 46.5 degrees equals opposite, which is B, over hypotenuse, 248. Multiply both sides by 248 to solve for B. Okay, and again, we only want 3 significant digits here. So 3 significant digits, and we get 180. 180. So that's going to be 180 miles east. Okay. So that is it. So we are now done with chapters 1 and 2. All right. So I guess a test is coming up. Keep up with the homework. Again, if you have any questions, make sure you email me or text me or do the Net Tutor on Canvas. It's on the left side margin. There's a link there for Net Tutor. It connects you to the tutors in our Math Study Center. Or you can make a in-person visit to the tutoring center, which is the Math Study Center, which is on campus on the first floor of the math building. Okay. I will see you next time.